Welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Minute, your source of internet marketing inspiration.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Minute. I'm your host, John Henson, and this week wanted to go back to one of our core messages, one of the things that we focus on the most, especially us as a company, and that is referrals. All right, and I've started to see this a lot lately, so it's a good time to bring this up. But I think a lot of times when it comes to asking for referrals, people kind of balk at that, get very hesitant, big excuses, just like, well, I don't want to annoy people. I don't want to inconvenience. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to seem like a pest, or I don't want to seem desperate or anything like that. And that's not, in general, that's not the case. All right. And there are a lot of ways to go about asking to where you're not going to be a bother, regardless. The thing about it is that I think a lot of times we get in our own way when it comes to, kind of reasoning out why we shouldn't do something. And I think a big reason for that is that we, as empathetic as we try to be, and as much as we try to put ourselves in other people's shoes, when it comes to things like this, we often just apply our own way that we respond to things to other people. I do this a lot, and it's something that I consciously have to be aware of, especially, when we're talking about, when we're having meetings here and it's, we're saying, hey, how do we make this offer? Or what about if we say this to people? And I try to disconnect from that, because it's like, I know how I would respond to that if I was a consumer, if I was a potential client, but how would other people who have different personality traits, who, see the world differently, how would they respond to it? And broadly speaking, most people are going to have a different reaction than you would to it. So, look, if you feel like you would be inconvenienced or annoyed by someone asking for a referral, that's a completely different issue altogether. Do you trust the final product or the follow through of the person asking for the referral? Are you happy with it? Do you believe in that product? And oftentimes, that can be a scary conversation in and of itself, because then it's like, well, do I believe in my firm's mission? Do I believe in the product and my abilities as a lawyer? And so now you're down this crazy rabbit hole where you're asking yourself a lot of questions, and it all stemmed from just simply asking for a referral. And I think another aspect of it is a lot of times people overthink it. You try to think of like the best way to ask for a referral, and then by the time you go through all of your options, you just can't figure out which one to settle on, so you just move on to something else. The thing is, and this is something that we've started doing here, is just try it. Just try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? A lot of these decisions are pretty inconsequential in terms of, whether or not it's going to result in your business failing or not. Like, you're not going to go out of business by asking for a referral. You are much more likely to go out of business by not asking for referrals, because guess what? If you're not asking for a referral, you're not going to get one. And that it's just, we get in our own way so often because we're worried about the response. We're worried about the right way to ask. And there are tons of business coaches and referral coaches out there who can give you a full roadmap and all of that on how to ask for referrals, or how to get referrals without asking, or, different ways to naturally get referrals. You can do it at various checkpoints in your case process. You can sign up for a service that does like a text message sequence that says, hey, if you know anybody, whatever. You can have books that you can give out. There are so many different ways that you can directly or indirectly ask for referrals. The overall point, though, is that you just do it. You just try. The easiest thing to do, seriously, the easiest thing to do is if there's 2 or 3 people that you haven't reached out to in a long time, or alternatively, if there are strategic contacts that you have conversations with, that you interact with on a regular basis, but you haven't necessarily asked directly for a referral in a long time, just reach out to them this week. Figure out, and surely you've thought of 2 or 3 people just in the course of, me kind of talking about this. Reach out to them this week and just be like, hey, who do you know? Do you know anybody right now who could use this? And if so, maybe make an introduction. Happy to help them out any way I can. It's not, because when you do it like that, when you frame it as, I'm looking to help someone, or, especially the way you ask it, it's like, can you help me? I'm trying to do this. And people want to feel like they're needed. People want to feel like they're able to help. And, you frame it that way, and it's like, hey, can you do me a favor? I'm trying to do this. Would love to help a couple people out. Who do you know that might need this? If you know anybody, make an email introduction or pass along my contact information. And that's it. It's a simple ask. And if they're like, and more than likely, you're going to get one of 2 responses. It's going to be either, actually, yes, here's this person, blah, blah, blah. Or it's going to be like, can't think of anybody right now, but I'll keep it in mind. And we can read between the lines on that, where that's more than likely just a general no. Like, they don't really know of anybody right now, and they're probably not going to remember, especially if you're not keeping in touch and reminding them about it. But those are the 2 most likely responses. And you're not like, especially if it's someone that you have a close relationship with, they're not going to be like, no, screw you. Like, no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to be like, no, you suck, go away. No, it's not going to happen. And I think that a lot of the hesitation and the trepidation that people have around asking for referrals comes from that fear of that sort of response. But at the end of the day, who cares? It's one response. It's one person. Like, and you can send a mass email out to your entire contact list, and you may get a couple people who are like, who are you? Or no, you suck. Fine. Get rid of them off your email list. It's not a huge deal, because you still have, hundreds of other people there. Don't let 1 or 2 people, which may make up like 1/10 of a percent, 1/10 of a single percent, like completely cloud your idea of asking for referrals or anything like that. And so, yeah, it's really just as simple as asking. That's all it is. Just ask. However you do it, there's no wrong way to do it. It's just like, hey, who do you know? This is what we've got going on. I'm looking to help some people. Who do you know? That's it. Because, and we've said this before, people out there have so much going on. It's hard to remember individual, especially small businesses, unfortunately, that people work with. And it's easy to forget names. It's easy to forget faces, especially when it's a one-time thing, and then you don't do a good job of staying in touch afterwards and being a continued resource in people's lives. That's all it is. And that's where that comes from. And so, look, if you don't have something in place right now where you're consistently keeping in touch with people, find a couple of people to ask this week, and then really, really, really consider having some sort of ongoing touch point in place where you're just being a resource to people. All right. I've looked at some of the survey results from our marketing trend survey that we talked about a couple of months ago. And oh boy, there's a lot of good data in there. And I can tell you right now, based on the numbers, most of you aren't doing this. And it's honestly astonishing. And it's really interesting, and I'm really excited to share the marketing trends report once it gets published, because I think it's going to be very illuminating. And it's, the overall theme of it is not going to shock anybody, but I think just being able to see that data and that sort of validation that, hey, everyone else is going through this too, but here's a solution for it, I think is going to be very valuable. So keep an eye on out for that. It's gonna be a few more weeks. I gotta write up that report, got to get it all designed, make it look nice. And then, for the people who participated, they are going to get access first, and then we will release it to the general public later on this year. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. And look, yes, slight tangent there, but at the end of the day, just ask for a referral. You'll be surprised at how painless the response is going to be. for the most part. And honestly, look, if you reach out and you get some nasty responses, let me know. I would be very interested to see, because I'm very curious as to what kind of people you are interacting with that can be terrible people. So that's it. It's going to do it for us this week. Continue to give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, or iTunes, Spotify. Like and subscribe to the show on YouTube, wherever you're consuming the show. It's all over the place. And that's going to be it. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Please visit lawfirmmarketingminute.com for more information. We'll see you next time.